What's going on, good people? It's Byron Scott back with another 9 to 5 wholesaler show, man. And in this show, we're gonna be talking about beginner wholesalers, man. Just a lot of good stuff for beginner wholesalers, people that's trying to get started, how you can get started, different ways people are getting started. Me and Thad, probably more Thad now. I know I talk to people every day, but Thad is like talking to all kind of people every day and
Man, this
figuring
guy,
out how people are
uh,
getting started in this thing and just bringing it to y'all, man. So, uh,
bringing it to you.
bringing it to you, man. So, if you got questions, make sure to put it in the comments on the side. If you're watching live, if you're watching on replay, put it in the comments below. Let us know how you're trying to get started. I'm pretty sure we'd be interested in knowing how people out there are trying to get started. Because we talk to people all the time that's trying to get started, and it's just amazing.
All the time.
It's amazing how people are doing this thing, man. So, as a beginner wholesaler, there's a lot of ways to get started. In some ways are easier than others, right? And it just, I always say it depends on what you can do, your tolerance level of what you can do, what you can take, what you can withstand, because you're going to need to withstand whatever you're going to do for however long it takes, to start getting leads coming in and getting deals, right? So, just gonna talk about a couple of ways beginners could get started. Thad, what do you think is like the number one most crucial thing to get started in wholesaling?
The number one most crucial thing to get started in wholesaling is probably want to.
Ooh,
That's
you gotta have some want to.
yeah, that's probably the number one thing because you can get all the info, you can get all the contracts, you get all the buyers, but if you don't really want to, you're not gonna do nothing. So I'd probably say the want to is probably the number one
All right.
thing.
So, number one thing is want to, which is intangible, right? So,
It's
what's the
intangible.
first tangible thing that somebody could do?
All right, after you want to, the next tangible thing, I guess if this was me today and I said I don't, I just want to do it, I would probably find somebody who's already doing it and see what can I learn or get from them to put me on the right path.
Yeah.
Like I would be like, hey, even real estate agents, like, hey, like, do you know any wholesalers? Can you put me in touch with them? Because a real estate agent probably got some wholesalers calling them and stuff. You know, um, and that would probably be the first thing to see if I could talk to somebody and see how they do it. Maybe I could shadow them. Maybe I could just talk to them because I think that'll save you some time. uh it probably at least take like 2 weeks off of your like what should I be doing, just talking to somebody for like maybe 2 hours or something would probably be depending on what you say after that, it's going to decide how you want to do your marketing. Like, do you want to drop for dollars? Do you want to do probate? Do you want to send mailers? Do you want to text? Do you want to cold call? Do you want to look on the MLS? But after, you probably won't know what you want to do until after you talk to a couple of wholesalers. And
So, how do you get these people to talk to you? Like, I'm messaging REI next door and he's not responding. He don't want to sit here and talk to me on the phone. How do you get these wholesalers to talk to you to respond? Like, do I remember sending every big name you could think about a message? They never responded. They didn't want to talk to me. So how do you get these people to talk to you?
sometimes I've had the same thing. It's kind of hard. Like, people sometimes get a little too Hollywood, or maybe they're just busy. Maybe they're just busy. But I'd say that when you call certain agent, like I said, if you can't find a wholesaler, because you could either go like say to Facebook, there's some scammers, but there are some wholesalers in Facebook. You can go to Reddit. There's a wholesale community in Reddit. Just go to Reddit, type in like wholesaling real estate or wholesaling. There's a whole group of wholesalers in there. They have a Discord. Um, you can go YouTube. It's kind of hit and miss. That even messaging people on Instagram is really hit and miss. I'd say the Facebook, as long as you don't get a scammer, The Reddit, there's not that many scammers in Reddit, but I have met one. I have met one pretended to be a buyer, fake
Oh,
website and everything. I said, why isn't your I
man.
said, why isn't your website
So a good scammer.
.com? His website was .io.
Hey, some people do .io.
Well, the next like week later, it was gone.
Oh,
Week later, it was gone. But
man.
talking like I said, if you call agents, if you said, hey, I'm just wondering, do you know any prominent wholesalers that you do business with, and can I have their number or whatever. I'm sure some of them would probably pass over that phone number because sometimes it's easier to get in touch with agents than it is like to get in touch with like
Anybody else?
yeah like because they have to answer. Some of them are going to answer their phone.
The ones who do business
Yeah,
because they know it's like, that is business. Like your phone is ringing, you're in business. Your phone ain't
yeah.
ringing, you ain't doing business.
So that would probably be an easy way to find some wholesalers. It would be agents, wholesalers that are not scammers, because an agent is probably not going to give you a scamming wholesale. Probably, you still got a chance,
So
but
do I talk to this person one time and then like that's it? Or how do I get on the phone like again? How do I get them to be interested in helping me?
I just got one more idea, and I think this is a good idea. I'm like, why didn't I think of this? You could go on Google and say, I want to sell my house. There's going to be a list of like websites that say we buy houses, I buy houses in your area. I bet most of those people are wholesalers, and I bet they have a line or like a contact thing, and they pretend you could pretend you have a property. You're like, gotcha, because they're gonna call you. They're gonna call you about
But
their
their
property.
workers are probably gonna call you though, right?
Yeah, they
But
might
some of those people are gonna end up being like, you keep talking to them, they end up being somebody that could
get you in
help
the the thing.
maybe get you in the door, but maybe even like
Have you
uh
sent in leads?
no, like ways that you can even work for that person or something
Yeah,
like that.
yeah. Have you sent in leads, or have them make you
Yeah,
do the
you
calls and
can
stuff?
make calls or
Yeah,
something like that. Because I ran into people who was making calls for other people, and they
yeah,
learned a lot about wholesaling doing it that way. You can learn a lot about wholesaling working for other people. So,
yeah.
like that's another big one. But yeah, I think that's a great idea. Talking to other wholesalers, talking to other people that's in the industry, because you might learn a way of wholesaling that you might like, man, that's cool. I can definitely do that. And that you might be able to go out there and do it. Right. There's some things like I remember listening to Footman and he was like, yeah, bandit sign, bandit sign, bandit sign. I was like, oh yeah, man, let me do the bandit signs. I got the bandit signs, didn't get them out there, right? So you got to be willing to try and then try and then try and then try again, right? Try different things until something sticks with you, right? So yeah, connecting with other wholesalers, I think would be a big one. So while I'm trying to connect with wholesalers, what else should I be doing?
If hopefully, you're connecting with buyers while you're doing this, because if you're on the phone with an agent for a wholesaler, while you're on the phone with the agent for the wholesaler, you could also be on the phone with the same agent for buyers. The two for save
Two
you
for
some
one.
time. Um, even those websites like the ones that we were just saying, like we buy houses or whatever. I bet some of those wholesalers would probably even JV with you, uh, and you might not get all your deal, but they would probably at least make sure you didn't fumble the bag, you know,
Yeah, a lot of people say
and
that's a good way to even sell your deals,
yeah,
to look those people up because they got, they putting that much money into getting, you know, um,
leads,
pay per click,
yeah,
getting leads. Then they probably got big buyers list, right?
yeah.
So
So so
that's a good
that's what I would
deal.
probably, yeah, if I was new straight out the gate.
So
Um,
I would call up agents to connect with other wholesalers. Another thing you could do is while you connected with that agent, connect with buyers, right? Ask the agent, do they have buyers that might be buying in the area, right? So now you're getting connected with wholesalers to get knowledge and gain from their experience. You're also connected with agents so you can get buyers that's in the area. So talk with wholesalers, find buyers. Okay, that what else? What's next? So I'm on the phone. I'm talking to agents. I'm getting connected with wholesalers. I'm talking to agents. I'm getting connected with buyers. Okay, what's my next step?
The next steps, for me, I think would probably be if you got buyers, if you got some, and you talk to some wholesalers and you kind of know what you're doing, or they say they'll JV with you, then from there, all you need is some sellers. You're like sugar and spice, so we're gonna need some sellers now. It depends on how you decide you want to, market to find these sellers, whether it be, driving for dollars, MLS, bandit signs, pay per click, ringless voicemail, email. Trying to think of what else. Word of mouth. I get some word of mouth. Somebody told somebody that told somebody, hey, I heard you were doing something with real estate. I got a house.
Yeah,
Word of mouth.
yeah. Hey, that word of mouth is good stuff, man.
Yeah,
That's
word of mouth. That's some.
Now, speaking of word of mouth, did you call the lady back
Byron,
yesterday? Did you look up the address? Did she text you the address? So let's tell everybody what happened there.
As soon as I said word of mouth, Byron, do you know I didn't even think about it until we said word of mouth.
What?
And then
Oh my God.
I've had a very busy. I'm a busy person. Okay.
Man,
but
too busy for leads, baby.
But first things first, though, I did look it up this morning, and it is a 3-bedroom.
So can you tell people what happened, Thad?
Oh, okay. Everybody want to know what happened. Okay. So last year I found a seller, and this seller, he thought I was scamming him.
How did you find him, Thad?
I skip traced him. He was in North Carolina. And
what does skip trace mean, Thad?
Skip trace means to line up your addresses with like phone numbers phone numbers and sellers. So you get the seller's contact information with the addresses. First you got a list of addresses, then you got like the name, the person, the email, that so you get it all in one spreadsheet. Then I took that spreadsheet and over to I think lunch control at the time. You hear that siren?
Yeah, police right through front door.
Right through the living room. Hands up. Don't shoot. Hands up, don't shoot. But from there, I texted it. The guy, he thought we were scamming. He thought we weren't real. I told him I said, go to the attorney's office. You can ask about me. Just say you spoke to that. They know who I am. They know me. They know who I am. Tell them you're talking, to the company, and they'll tell you who we are. Me. I don't need no introduction. So anyway, he went there in person. He didn't call. He went there in person. He said, "Hey, I was talking to this guy." He said, "Y'all know who he was?" And they're like, "Oh yeah, we know who that is." And we had sent them some Chick-fil-A, so they'll never forget us. They'll never forget. So anyway, they vouched for me, and he was like my biggest, kind of maybe not hater, but unbeliever. And it's almost like, if I ever hear the story of, Saul, he's like, I'm riding with Jesus. He was persecuting wholesalers. Then he became the biggest advocate for wholesalers. That man, he sent me four deals. Deals. He sent me his neighbors. We got that under contract, and we wholesaled that. He sent me another person. They couldn't sell, they had something coming up, or they had something come up. I don't know what happened. He sent me another person. Well, he didn't send them to me. He called me and told me that they were going to call me, and they were going to, he didn't have the address or anything. He said, I talked to some people. They're going to call you. They never contacted me. Okay. Then he sent me his sister. His sister called me yesterday, gave me her address. I looked up the address. It's a little far from Raleigh. So I'm gonna have to find somebody. That's actually one of the things I'm supposed to do today is find somebody for this house. I've been
That she
busy.
wants to sell.
Hey, who
Hey,
was
I
it?
want
Yes.
to sell this house. That hey, I'm calling you. Hey, I want to sell my house. Right?
Hey, what about me? What about me right here? Uh, but that's what happens. Word of mouth is very
Word of
important.
mouth.
I have had a lot of sellers, and this is something that I got something else that I was actually thinking about because of that, and I'll just tell y'all here. Byron, as a real estate agent, they have this thing called Buffini. It's like this. He's like a agent guru, if you want to call him that. His last name is Buffini. He talks about always sending people, like if you know, like an agent, you do a deal with somebody. He talks about sending them things like Christmas cards and blah 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 blah. I'm like, we could probably do that and send our sellers like little, like,
Yes.
we haven't forgot about y'all. Like, don't forget we take referrals. You
Yeah.
know, here's a $5 card for Chick-fil-A. Don't
Yeah.
forget we take $1,000 for referral. Oh yeah, oh yeah. Like,
Yeah.
I want.
That's a good idea,
We'll
Thad.
be. I was thinking about it. I was thinking that. I look. I haven't even told Byron that idea, so I'm telling y'all, all of y'all here,
Pretty
and that's
good.
a pretty good idea.
Pretty
And
good.
I didn't keep it.
That's
I
pretty
could. Yeah,
good.
it's pretty good. Like, that's good. That's good.
Can you send a gift card through email?
Yeah, yeah. You can send a gift card through email.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Or through
but
text?
I don't know. But sometimes people be thinking links and texts are kind of scammy, so I don't know. But
But
maybe. But
but
probably.
if they see that you're a person that already text them and just be like, hey, you know, this is such from Open Resi. We purchased your house back in da 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 da. We wanted to or let you know that we emailed you a gift card to,
Yeah.
whatever.
Yeah, I think that would be pretty powerful to
Man,
get.
that
I
would be powerful.
I was thinking about it. I was like, I'm like, we about to change the game.
Oh yeah, about to get something
Uh,
going.
because they will be thinking about us, every, whatever. And that gift card, maybe you do $10 gift card. So let's say if you said we're gonna do, $300 in publicity for the business or whatever, or
Yeah,
maybe 400,
and
$500.
write it off.
Write it off. Good,
Yeah.
good cheer. Happy Merry Christmas. From such and such company. Never forget that the $1,000 is the gift that keeps on giving.
Yeah,
Re-
yeah.
refer today.
So Jordan said, "What's good, man? Got to acknowledge the people that's
what's
coming in,
what's up,
coming through.
Jordan?
What's up, Jordan?" Cass said, "What's up, guys?
What's up,
What's up?"
man?
Cass in the building. Cody coming through said, "What's going on,
What's
guys?
going on? What's going on?
Nothing much, just a bunch of wholesaling. What contracts do you use?" So gaming therapy said, "What contracts do you use?" That
We have our own just regular what is it? Just purchase sale agreement
yeah,
contract, but
we
there
was
are,
actually talking about last night about changing some of it. So,
yeah, changing some of it. There are some states like Texas though where you got to use
but
the
but tell
Texas,
them what kind of we came up with like a bright idea. What happens when like you discover something? What do they call that? We had an
like a
epiphany.
eureka moment.
Yeah,
Oh,
we had an epiphany.
epiphany. Oh, okay,
Yeah,
yeah,
it's
epiphany.
like, oh man, we just thought about this. Almost like 2 years in, I'm finally thinking, what should we do with this contract? That
Oh, we are going to put in language allowing us to lock it up at the county like courthouse so that no one else can steal our deals. But if we were to market them to, you guys, not saying you guys would steal our deals, but if we were to market them to anybody, nobody can come in behind us and talk our seller into leaving
yeah,
because there will be a memorandum at the courthouse saying that, the seller agreed to sell the property to us.
yeah,
So it is
that
good. Like,
basically clouds the title.
yeah, class of title. Exactly.
But that we
What's
talked
up?
about this. What we should have been done this. We should have already got. I mean, we got relationships with attorneys now. We've been had relationships with attorneys. We've never asked them to look over our contract. Right?
We should have, and we've never asked. I did bring that up like a month ago. but I never brought it up again. And we thought about it again last night. And so we need to at least by Friday have sent this to a couple of attorneys and had them go line by line and see, if our as they say, our contracts pass muster. I don't know if anybody's old enough to talk like that.
Yeah.
But yeah, see if they pass. The lady just texted me. The lady, she said, "What did you think
The
about
one
my
who wants
house?"
to sell, the
Yeah,
one who's asking
yeah,
Thad, she's not calling anybody else or looking anywhere else. She's saying, "Hey, my brother's talked so great about Thad that I'm just gonna call him to sell my house."
yes. That is the one. That is the one right here. And what should be included in that contract so we don't get screwed? Is it best to use my personal info or get an LLC? If you have an LLC, I would most definitely get one as
Yeah,
soon
it's
as
better to get an LLC. You don't have to. It's not mandatory, but it's best to use the LLC. You don't have to have it. It's not a requirement, right? Um, and what should be included so we don't get screwed. It's more like what should not be included so you don't get screwed.
Yeah.
you but there's some things you can get a free contract. You can if you have Instagram, you can go search REI next door on Instagram, follow a link, and there's a free contract that you can find. I think it's maybe a part of my free course. Everything, all that stuff is free. So you just go through there, go to the free course, and find the free link inside of the course, and it has everything you need in there. So if you have questions about the contract, you can come back here, and we'll be happy to discuss it with you.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Yeah. We'll go line by line if you got one and
yeah,
try to.
yeah, that'd be awesome. But Cody said, good idea. You should do something for your buyers as well.
We make a money,
I'm
but yeah,
telling
but
you, they
haven't we
should do
done enough?
something
Yeah.
for
How
us.
much money you made off of me?
Yeah, I'm telling you, you gotta think they making more than money than what you making. Most of
Yeah,
them.
most of the time, as long as you send in your buyers properties, like they like that. I don't know. They should be sending me
Send me
something.
another
Like,
problem.
yeah, send me another property. You know, hey, you got anything? You
Yeah,
know,
yeah.
just check and see if you got. No, I ain't got nothing yet.
I ain't got that. I ain't got that.
I'll let you know.
Yeah. So
But the sellers, yeah, especially sellers that we haven't talked to in years and years and years, to kind of keep our presence known. I think it's a must do.
So is that on Instagram for contracts? Yes. Go on Instagram, follow my link that's in my bio, and it'll lead you. Like you go to my free course, and then inside of the course it has a free contract in there, right? But if you come with that contract, like, hey, what is this on this live? Me and Thad definitely gonna go all in
Yeah,
on it,
yeah,
because it's a contract that we use all the time. So you ask us a question about it, we gonna be diving in, So that'd be pretty cool, pretty interesting. Um, but yeah, man. So we have called wholesalers. We talk to agents to get buyers, right? So now we can try to figure out what method should we use to reach out to sellers, right? Thad mentioned word of mouth, which he's getting deals by, um, calling people, texting people. So how do I actually, word of mouth? Yeah. What do I say to these people?
in the beginning, we we were kind of really big companies, but
Yeah.
now, like, I don't know about you personally, but I kind of paint myself as a smaller company.
Everybody want
Uh,
to paint themselves as a small guy.
like,
Even Walmart want to paint themselves as a small guy.
I'm just a little guy,
You're
just
not a
like you.
small guy, Thad.
Yeah, yes, I am, man. Look, I was
I'm
walking
just a
today.
little man.
I'm getting slimmer. I'm getting slimmer. But yeah, I really like before, we used to say, like, or some people say, and I know, like, I used to say, like, like, our underwriters, our this, our that, our blah blah blah, our blah blah blah. Now I'm like, hey, I'm gonna send this over, to our investor, and they're gonna let us know, or I'm gonna send this over to this like a big company, and their underwriters are going to take a look at this. Like, almost nothing of this situation is on me. And
Yeah.
if anything comes up, I'm like, I don't know what's going on with them. Like before, we used to have to make up a thing, like, this, like, but now it's like, this company, they normally, go like this, this is how they're doing business. Is, it's not us. I don't know what's going on either. Like, I'm upset. Let me figure out what's going on your behalf and get this taken care of. But I really like being like the little guy. I'm just, I'm the little guy. I'm
I'm
just,
just a worker.
connecting you. Yeah, I'm just
I'm just a
working.
worker.
And that's how I talk to the sellers these days. I just say that I find properties for big companies and small investors or local investors, and they tell me what they want, and I supply it. Your house happens to be, something that they would be interested in. I'm
Happen
just
to
going to
fall
send
into
it to
that
them,
category.
you know, and I don't have the cash to buy you a house, I don't have, so it's not going to be me, you know.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's like, yeah, is this the buyer pulls out, and then at the, like, say the buyer pulled out at the end of the deal, and they'd be
Yeah.
like, I told you at the beginning, I did not, I was not, I did not have the cash, Don't be trying to blame me,
Yeah.
because if technically, I've been studying for my real estate exam, guys. If you go under contract, and this is one of the reasons that people were doing novations, if you go into contract with somebody and the market were to like fall off of a cliff and then you didn't close, and they say like, hey, I wanted to close in 14 days and you dragged it out, and now like my property value lost like this much money, like they could theoretically try to sue you, and even if you're not the buyer, you assigned it to the buyer and the buyer didn't close, they could say like, but you signed the contract with me. That's one of the reasons that me and Byron were thinking about maybe doing like not innovation like you're gonna like put it on the MLS, but like just innovation like we are no longer we are no longer in contract with each other. You are only in contract with this individual. You know,
Yeah.
uh, that way if they did pull out and the real estate market did tank, they could only sue them, but they wouldn't be able to say anything of the blame. But I do say up front that I don't have the money. I just find the properties. If they don't buy it, we're not buying it. Like there, so there's no, I'm not, there's
No
no
thoughts. There's
no
no.
illusion. Like,
I think that's a wonderful place like that we got to, man. Like
yeah,
telling people like, hey, we work with investors. They're purchasing your property. We're not purchasing property. We just go out and find properties for these investors.
it's
And
not
they
our
compensate,
inspector. It's
right?
like it's not my inspector. Or what did the inspector say? Or he took it to them. I don't know, because they might ask us a question about something about the inspection. Like I assume it was good. You remember
Well,
how
any question that they ask us, you can always just say, "Hey, I'm gonna go ask the investors. I'll let you know what
yeah.
they say." You know,
When we first started, we would send an inspector sometimes, and we didn't get the report back. So they're asking us, "Hey, how did I pass
what's
inspection?"
wrong with it?
I
Why
don't
did
know.
not
Like,
pass?
like it's not. But now it's like it's not my inspector. It's their inspector. They're going to send the report directly to the company. I haven't seen the report yet, but as soon as I see it, but before they thought that we were sending our inspectors, so they were thinking that we would know, but we really literally didn't know. So it's just a lot easier these days.
Yeah,
You
it's a
know,
lot easier just shooting them straight,
yeah,
man.
shooting them straight, shooting
Tell
them
them what's
straight.
going on.
Yeah, shooting them
Uh,
straight.
I had a guy I was talking to. He was like, "Man, that just sounds like what wholesaling should be."
it's,
Yeah.
it's what
So
it is for us,
it's
man.
what it is, man. I mean, it's straight ahead, it's straight up. I think it's pretty good, man. But anyways, that's just a biased opinion, I guess. Jordan says, "Do you ever lose out on deals and telling them you're not the one buying?" Thad,
I had one deal. I have never lost a deal except for one,
I never
and
lost a deal, not
I
one of them.
I did. One time in Florida, I had this lady, and she had an agent though. It wasn't even like it might have would have came up, but the seller had an agent, and the agent asked me about who we were, what we were doing, blah 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 blah. I said, I'm a wholesaler. Already have a couple buyers that are interested in your property. They gave me the criteria. That's why we contacted you, and she acted like everything was cool. The seller, she didn't really care, but the agent acted like everything was cool. Next day, she comes back and she says, "Hey, the buyer only wants a deal straight up with the seller only wants a deal straight up with the buyer." Now, don't forget, this buyer is an old lady who's
Yeah.
not an agent. So there's no way that the seller said that. I don't think the seller said that.
Yeah.
So either the agent went to her broker and her broker said, "Hey,
Yeah. She
you
went to some of
better,"
her she went to some of her agent buddies.
and they said, "Hey,
All
you
them
don't want to do,
wholesalers be trying
you
to
better,
da, 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 da,
yeah,
da.
yeah." So something like that happened, and I said, "What about it?" So she already knew. So she already knows about this signs. She didn't want it to sign, and she even knew that we could double, because I'm like, well, could we? I'm thinking I'm talking to like the agent, not the. I was like, well, what about if we just double close? No, she only wants it directly with the. So then, no matter what I would say, because you remember I had already said that we're not the actual ones buying the houses. Like we just double close it or assign it. That was the only time, and I had a deal sniped. That same time because I had talked to. I'll go ahead. Can I say the name? Can I?
Right.
That Northwestern, it's in
Yeah.
Florida. It's a wholesaling company, real estate company.
Yeah.
And I had told him, I said, dude, this seller will only go directly with the seller. Like I already told her that we were going to double close it. And then he says, well, we could triple close it and we could just not. I said, triple close it. We could. You know that meme where the lady's looking and he has like the things. I'm like, we could triple close it. Like, how's that? Like, how's that work? I was like,
Oh.
what? Can I do that? I gotta call attorney's office and even ask it. I ain't gonna do that. But he went behind me and told the seller's agent that he was working with us and that he had got away or something. I don't know what he said. That he had somebody who was just going to buy it or something. I don't know what he did, but yes, I did have a deal go down the drain, Jordan. But I've only had one in all this time. So I mean, I guess it is a risk, but it does make my life a lot easier most other times to just tell people that, hey, and like I said, if I pretended to have the money and then for some reason we didn't close and the seller were to say you led me on to believe that you were buying it and you weren't buying it, I hate wholesalers, blah, 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 blah. But if I came up to them at the beginning and I said, we're not buying your house, we just find it, this company is going to buy your house, blah, 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 then, and they don't buy it, I think I would be a lot better off, protecting myself by saying that in the beginning I disclosed that but that's just me. That's just me.
Yeah. I think it just gives you like a solid foundation and you know that, hey, this is how we do things, right? I mean, every company is that same way. There's certain ways that certain companies do. It's like, it's just certain ways that certain companies do. It's like Checkers don't have an inside. It's like they lose some customers because they don't have an inside. You can't go sit inside.
This guy,
But it's just the way it is. It's like we will lose some people, but we have our standards. Like this is what we do. This is how we do it. You know what I'm saying? At some point, your company has to have a standard. This is what we do, and the people that will fall in line and is okay with the way that you do things. People that's okay with not being able to sit inside of Checkers, they'll just go through the drive-through and pick it up, and Checkers will make their money off of it. Right? They'll sit outside on the chairs, and Checkers will make their money. The people that want to sit inside, they'll go somewhere else and eat. Right? It's like, you know what I'm saying? So you can't get every deal, right? You cannot get every deal. It's like you got to find your way and stay with that. And like it gets to a point, if the deal I guess is so good. It's like I got a deal where this guy was 160, and it's like, okay, and I am looking to buy it. Like I am buying it. You know what I'm saying? So it's like I'm gonna buy it and flip it. You know what I'm saying? In that case, I am gonna buy it. Let's say if that deal was so good where it's like, okay, I'm gonna lose the deal if I don't, if I'm not the buyer. Well, shoot, I mean, I could flip it, what I'm saying? It's like, okay,
Yeah.
I buy it. You know what I'm saying? So I'm just saying, either way, stick to what you do. Do not let the sellers change everything just for the sake of doing a deal. Sometimes you have to say, this is what we do. Right? It's like I had a seller who wanted to go to a different closing attorney. And it was like, but my buyer was a hedge fund buyer, and they only use, like, you have to use these certain attorneys. And it's like, no, this is what we do. Right? It's like, this is a business and this is what we do. You can't go to Checkers and tell them, I'm not buying your food unless I can sit inside. They're not gonna say, "Oh, okay, I don't want to lose that money. Come on inside." No, man, you know, that's not what we do. What do you think, that?
Byron's right, man. No, no, you're right. You're right. You're right.
It's like you got to take a stance and do what your business do, right?
Yeah.
So Ali said, I remember when I first started, a cash buyer called me. Dude had a bad attitude, being disrespectful. I'm like, dude, there's plenty of buyers out there. I don't need you.
I mean,
Yeah, don't deal with disrespectful people, man. It's, I guess, first I try to diffuse the situation.
yeah.
First thing, try to diffuse the situation. But if somebody just gonna act a fool, call them back another day. Maybe somebody pissed their cornflakes, or maybe somebody, maybe the dog's
Have a
missing.
have a female VA call them. They seem to have better.
Calm down, yeah, yeah. They'll calm down then.
I've seen people be mean in the text, and then have one of our VAs, like, I've listened to the VA on the phone talking to them, and they just eating out their hands.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I see people be mean in the text, and then I call them, and it's like they're nice. Like, I've had people go off on me on a text. I call them, and it's like, just being nice.
Ali, I walked. Ali, I walked. He said yesterday.
Jordan told
Was it
you to
Jordan?
walk.
Who's it, Jordan? Oh, my bad, Ali. I thought it was Ali.
No, Jordan told you to walk.
Oh, my bad. My bad, Ali. Jordan.
Yeah.
I walked, Jordan. I didn't do it till today, but I said it. I was gonna do it, and I did it.
I got me a little walking in too,
Okay,
Thad.
right.
I'm over here trapped in a room. As you can see, my setup has changed.
Yeah, I see it.
I'm isolated for COVID's sake. So I'm walking around in my room. Just I try to do a little walk around the room.
Yeah, I was walking on my treadmill.
Yeah, I don't know if I got any miles in. I didn't get any miles in, but I got some steps in.
Yeah, I got some steps. It
Oh,
was Ali. See, Jordan.
Ali.
See, Jordan. I got a good memory now. I'm about to say it was Ali. Appreciate that, Jordan.
I thought that was Jordan. It was Ali.
I burned it into my memory. I was like, Ali. I gotta,
So let's recap this before we get out of here, man. So, one, as a beginner, you need to go and try to connect with other wholesalers, right? You can do that through reaching out to agents, through Googling We Buy Houses, and trying to call as many of those people to see if any like real wholesalers will pick up the phone, because most of those people are going to be like other people filling calls, like VAs and stuff. But if you can get a real, wholesaler on the phone, you could talk to them. And then just going to events, you know what I'm saying? Go to events, meet people and stuff like that. So that's the first thing you should do. The next thing would be calling agents again to get connected with cash buyers, right? And then the other thing you need to do is figure out how you're going to reach out to sellers and just be consistent about that, right? So, man, I guess tomorrow we're going to talk about how to talk to these sellers. So kind of like a continuum on the beginner wholesale journey. So tomorrow we're going to talk about how you talk to sellers, how you can reach out to them, some of the platforms that are the best, and how to go about talking to these sellers to get them to sign your contract so you can take it to a buyer and sell it and walk away with a fat check, right?
We should have added one more part. I'm like, I don't know if you like people to do this later or whatever, but if you want to, if you really think you're gonna be serious, maybe get your LLC. Because there's a lot of stuff that like you buying leads and stuff, like you might as well, like if you had your LLC, it's a lot of stuff you could write off as you're
Yeah,
going along.
yeah.
Uh
Go ahead and get your LLC. You know,
if you're
you go ahead.
serious,
Yeah,
if
if
you're
you're
serious,
serious, if you're like, I'm definitely doing not just this business, but any business. You know what I'm
get your
saying? Because
LLC.
it could be you don't have to name it specific, so specific. You know, it could be Open Resi Investments, right? Or Open Resi Enterprise. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? So make it like general, and then let's say if you don't go, say if you somehow give up on this and do something different, you could just, it still
Switch it
makes
over.
sense.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Um, Open Resi services, right? Some type of real estate services, right? That could be any services. You know what I'm saying? It's like, so, that's what I would do. That's the angle I would take. And then get your LLC, get your,
Couple $100. It's
yeah, yeah,
like,
yeah,
yeah, it's like
easy peasy. And then
yeah.
get your email address, get your domain and get your email address, right?
When
I think that's real good.
when you send somebody your email with your domain behind it, it's gonna make you look that much more professional. Like
Yeah.
it's gonna put you ahead of a lot of people for
Yo,
a
tell,
little bit of money.
for a
For a little bit of
little bit
money,
of money.
and you once
I'll tell
like
them when I tell people my email address, they're like, oh, you know what I'm saying? They just see professional, like, I was looking for a Gmail.
no Gmail here, no
Yeah,
Gmail
even when
here.
you see buyer, like when I see buyers, when they give me a Gmail, it's always a little bit of skepticism inside of
It
that
is.
Gmail.
Yeah.
But anyways, man, we finna get out of here, y'all. Appreciate y'all coming through. My man Ali came through. He said, "Man, I just got I guess he's saying I just got out of a work meeting in my head. All I'm thinking is the
To
day I
keep
kick this W-2 on the side and I'm full time. Hey, that's what's up, man. Do it." So Ali came through. Appreciate you coming through, man. Cass came through. Jordan came through. Mark came through. Cody came through. Gaming Therapy came through, and my guy Cass came through the building. Appreciate all y'all that came through. We finna get out of here. We'll see y'all tomorrow to talk
see you
about
tomorrow.
how we talk to sellers. But till then, peace out.
So